Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my newest video, and today is the date of December. What day is this? December 11th, 2025 on Thursday night. Today, I will be making a discussion video about why DTG has not made the East London line. I'll tell you. First thing which I need to ask you, why has Dovetail Games, or simply DTG, have not built any of their lines to the East London area since they changed the World 3 or 2 era? Well, there's only one thing to ask, and that is development stages, and that is stage 1 of our priority and category. So why is that not happened? Well, Johannes Hartmann, the person who built the North London line and released it in March 2024, has got some, or maybe a little bit, of privileges to build the East London line for us. And why am I talking about this? Well, I'm only talking about this because this is a discussion. Disclaimer, this is not any stuff blamed on any of the developers in this video. Any developers that I talk about are not going to be put in the video. So, let's get started with number 1. Where is the tunnel? Well, I would say, hey yo, what would you do if there was a tunnel next to you at the Dalston Junction area? Well, on the live map, it is easier to know because Dalston Junction is right there in the distance on the live map. Well, this, if I turn around, is focus, the Dalston Junction tunnel. And why am I talking about this? Well, the only thing is, why have DTG never ever in their lives built a line that has ever went to New Cross Gate, West Croydon or Clapham Junction? Well, this is not a thing because I've already heard of this and seen this. 2I60 Stratford to Richmond 378218, stopping at the destination. Well, by the way, the only thing is, why haven't they ever built the line that goes down to New Cross, Clapham Junction and West Croydon? Well, the only thing is, there is a line and also a invisible wall on this track which I'm standing at or going in that is preventing you from entering the other station. Focus! Dalston Junction Station. And the fact is, if we can go to Canterbury, which is available for one stop on the line, we're just gonna get 2Y60 from here to Canterbury just to give a mock-up of what will happen if one of these passengers can move. So that, through that human there, that is the Dalston Junction Tunnel. And why am I talking about that exactly? Well, the only thing is, I am going on this train one stop. Because why am I doing that? I'm only doing that just for show. Well, I'm gonna go one stop to Canterbury and see if there is a train that goes to Clapham Junction, New Cross or West Croydon from there. So let's go to Canterbury and see what's happened. Well, we are going to have a look at what's happened because we need evidence of what's going to happen to it in the future of Train Sim World players. Well, I'm on a Gen 9 console, by the way, so if you want to go for this, just pay £29. And that is the train that you just saw through this window. That is number 9805 going inside the Dalston Junction tunnel all the way from Highbury and Islington to another place. Maybe even Highbury, maybe even New Cross, maybe even West Croydon, who knows? But I live on the Windrush line. So, if that line was having to be built in 2026 for Train Sim World players, I would have been happy, but the Windrush line is still in construction. We've only got the new line from Richmond to do, and then afterwards the Windrush line, maybe in 2026. Well, right, we are now arriving at Canterbury, our next stop on the North London line. We are going to go have a look at the damage of what's going on here. Well, so, what is going on here? That is Category 2 of our next edition. Well, my train 378,218 has already arrived at the station going to Richmond. And why is that for? Well, the thing is, only
have your tickets ready for inspection.
Oi, sorry for the announcement. Right, thing is, only the head codes labelled either 9A or 9B and either 9C or 9G, which have DC labelled DC only bits between Highbury and Islington and New Cross, and all other stops are allowed to go on this line, but only if you got not a /2 but either a /1 or a 3, and then you can use it. But for example, I'll show you what happens. If I can, well, maybe actually, spawn my 2-car class 465 that I made in the Formation Designer down somewhere, if I can spawn it when the train doesn't actually come, because that's a little bit annoying. Next one is at 33, so that's a little bit annoying. And if I want to do that, I need to wait until the train actually comes in for me to do it. Well, so, moving on to Category 3. Why have developers DTG and Focus higher-ups have never ever in their lives built the East London line between Highbury, West Croydon, New Cross and all other stops for us? Well, that's the reason that I'm gonna ask in this video. The first thing for our port of call is, why are they doing this to us? Well, it's just because of the development and absolutely very cross switching that they need to do between either line, because there needs to be a lot of development, a lot of effort put into it, and also scenery and foliage as displayed here. Oh, new train 378222, but there's a new one 378215 to West Croydon. Well, that's a new embarkment. That's the train arriving anyway. Right, this is why 378s, which are 5 carriages in length, should go to the whole platform. They shouldn't be stopping right over here on the closest door, because they need to have selective door opening in order to let them go through. So I've already closed that one. By the way, the fact is, why is DTG not doing this? Or Focus higher-ups, Johannes Hartmann, the person who already built the Mildmay line, Stratford to Willesden Junction, and not Richmond in 2026, have never ever built this. Well, the East London line was suggested by a few people on the forums. I have never had a look at them yet, but I will have a look at them next time. I'm sorry, viewers. So, take a look at this. I would spawn in my scenario, a class 465, not that way, you oiler. My guy, 465903, and that is the first thing. I open the door and get inside the cab. I'm only gonna drive it just a short distance so I can show you what is going on here. Look at that. You can ride it and it still works. So even though it has a DC power-ups like this one, and then after that, open the doors and then close them. Isn't that easy, DGG? Look at this. You can use any train you like D377 for example, or 465 or 313. Well, that's easy enough. So why have DGG not built it yet? Well, it seems like Johannes Hartmann needs to build the East London line again. So I think that looks like only the Mildmay line is going to have a lot of praise this year and next year. But if there was another line that could be built, that's even better. But they're not building the East London line at all anymore. But that looks like we are going to have to stay until the Mildmay line for Gen 9 people until 2026 so Hartmann can build our new East London line for Gen 9 customers. And that is the discussion about how you should never trust other developers just like Skyhook or Rivet or any other customers or any other people for their own suggestions on the Mildmay and the East London line. So, thank you for watching this discussion video of December 11, 2025. Thank you for watching this video on my discussion about the London Overground East London line, and salute to everybody who watches my videos throughout 2025, and I wish you a very nice and happy, safe New Year.